I am very pleased to announce the publication in audio form of my book, The Regularity Analysis of Causation. According to David Hume, for an event series to be a causal series is simply for that series to instantiate a regularity. According to Carl Hempel, to explain an event is simply to identify a regularity of which that event is the final component. Both analyses are obviously wrong, but philosophers have utterly failed in their attempts to identify the flaws in the arguments put forth by Hume and Hempel. More importantly, philosophers have failed to produce viable alternative analyses. In this monograph, the flaws in those arguments are identified, and viable alternative analyses of causation and explanation are put forth. Please enjoy the following promotional excerpt from the audiobook itself, professionally narrated by Samuel Unger, and available at audible.com.
The Regularity Analysis of Causation. Written by J. M. Kuczynski, Ph.D. Narrated by Samuel Unger. Chapter 1. The Regularity Analysis Stated and Evaluated. According to Hume, E1 is the direct cause of E2, just in case any event that is similar to E1 is spatially adjacent to an immediately posterior event that is similar to E2, and E1 is the indirect cause of En, just in case, for any number I less than n, any event that is similar to E1 is spatially adjacent to an immediately posterior event that is similar to EI plus 1. Hume holds that if E1 is the direct cause of E2, then there is a law to the effect that any similar event to E1 is adjacent to an immediately posterior event that is similar to E2. Hume therefore holds that laws are regularities, and that causal sequences are instances of such regularities. He rejects the position that laws are structures that are responsible for such regularities and are therefore distinct from them. He also rejects the view that causes are responsible for their effects. Thus, in Hume's view, causal laws are just regularities, and causal series are just instances of regularities. A causal series is a series of events, each non-initial member of which is the effect of the preceding member of that series. Hume's argument for this analysis. First version. According to Hume, if there is any empirical basis for saying that E1 caused E2, it is the fact that 1. E1 is E2's immediate predecessor and neighbor, coupled with the fact that 2. Events similar to E1 are always the immediate predecessors and neighbors of events similar to E2. It follows that alpha, E1 is the cause of E2, has empirical significance, and therefore scientific significance to the extent that it means beta, the sequence consisting of E1 and E2 and that order, instantiates a regularity. It also follows that alpha lacks empirical significance and therefore lacks scientific significance to the extent that it means gamma, E1 compelled E2 to occur. Therefore, for all intents and purposes, alpha, if true, merely reports the existence of an event series that instantiates a regularity. In general, as far as science is concerned, causal claims, when true, merely describe regularities or instances thereof. Consequently, as far as science is concerned, causal ties are nothing other than regularities, and instances of such ties are nothing other than instances of regularities. Hume's argument for this analysis. Continued and clarified. Let A and B be two billiard balls, and let E and E star be two events such that E is identical with A's colliding with hitherto stationary B, and E star is identical with B's thereupon beginning to roll. And let E to E star be the sequence consisting of E and E star in that order. E to E star is a paradigm case of causal sequence. Let us suppose that each of E and E star is observed by someone with 20/20 vision without the use of microscopes or other such prosthetics, and let us further suppose that the optical conditions in question are ideal, so that those observations are as precise as naked eye observations can be. Given that, by supposition, E is the cause of E star, it is generally presumed that E compelled E star to occur, and it is therefore presumed that E's being the cause of E star involves more than E's preceding and being adjacent to E star. But no such compulsion was observed, says Hume, and it is not that the relevant sense perceptions were imprecise. It is that there are simply no instances of compulsion to observe. Events can be observed, says Hume, but not forces. We can see one event follow another, says Hume, but we cannot see one event compel another to occur.